For today's video, we're going to attempt to change out the mechanical fuel pump on my 1979 Toyota Corolla. So basically what's going on with this thing is if you spray starter fluid into the carburetor, it will fire up and it runs. It'll run for just the amount of time that it's in there until it burns out. So the previous owner told me that he thought it might be the mechanical fuel pump is gunked up because he has seen fuel getting to that mechanical fuel pump but not to the carburetor. We went online and luckily O'Reilly's happened to carry it. It's perfect, it's for my car. I also picked up one of the Haynes Toyota Corolla handbooks to help mechanically fix the thing. The goal is to take out the stock or the original pump that's in there, hope that that's what's causing the problem, put a new one in and give it a shot. Who knows if that's what it is? We're hoping that it's going to be it and we can get this thing on the road, because otherwise the car seems great, the brakes feel fine, everything feels good. It's just a matter of getting this carburetor to work. Keep in mind, I'm just a garage mechanic, kind of have some basic hand tools. I don't know everything about cars, that's for sure, but it's a hobby and I'm having fun with this thing, so figure I'd document it for anybody who might be interested. So let's follow along and see how it goes. The other thing too is I did read in the book that there's a way that you can disconnect the fuel line, and then you're supposed to disconnect, I think, the spark plugs and some other stuff, and then crank it over, and then you can tell if you're getting fuel. It's probably what I should do, and actually I may do that, although it seems like it'd be simple to change this out and give it a shot. Keep in mind, this car had been sitting for about 6 years. The last time it was registered was in 2014. It's currently 2021, so it's almost 7 years. So there's a good chance that this thing could be caked up with the old fuel. I can't remember what they call it, what it turns into, but it gets pretty sticky in there. I have a feeling that's probably what it is, but maybe we'll try it the right way, which is to drain it out of the carb and see if that works. So that right directly in front of you, that's our mechanical fuel pump. So it appears that this line here is the main line coming out of the mechanical fuel pump down here. So I'm going to disconnect this and we're going to put it into a bottle. I'm going to disconnect the coil and crank it over a couple times to see if it's pumping fuel in there. And that'll tell us if the fuel pump is working or not. All right, here's the plan of attack. Take this bottle. I'm going to drill out the center cap so that I can slide it over that fuel line, screw it on top. That way I don't actually have to hold it, and basically press fit it over that line. And then we should be able to crank it over and see if it's spitting out fuel into the bottle. So let's see if that works. So in theory, we should be able to just slide the fuel line on that, and that'll grab the fuel. All right. Like that. All right, let's see if this works. Did we get any fuel? So we did. Okay, so that's not good. I wonder if it's working good enough. But we're gonna swap it out anyways and see what happens. Okay, so there's one. And we've disconnected the lines. This lower one I have right here goes to this small side here. The hose from the carburetor goes to here. So it's the fuel filter into here. There's that other line on the side and this one. So we've got those three off. Next, we're gonna actually take the fuel pump itself out. There's two 12mm bolts, basically here and here. I'm gonna take those off and then squeeze it out. So there we go, we got it. And there we go, we got it out. So obviously you want to be careful, make sure you've got a fire extinguisher. I've got one handy here, it's just a little kitchen one, but you never know when you're dealing with gas. So anyways, we have our new one, and we've got our old one. They look exactly the same. Both seem to operate the same. I don't think this is going to be our problem. So here comes the fun part. The fun part is getting Squeezing this all through there, installing your gasket, and adding your spacer. Keeping these all on there while trying to line it up onto the engine block. I, again, don't think it's going to be the issue because, quite frankly, that other one looks brand new and it definitely was full of fuel after cranking it over. We got this, so we may as well try it and see if it works. So the fun part, like I said, is trying to guide this through in there. This runs on the I guess there's the crank or one of the lobes of the cranks, and that's what actually mechanically pushes the fuel through the system. It sucks it in this way and out that way. Unless it's clogged inside from the vacuum. There's like a little vacuum diaphragm or something in there. Who knows if it's going to be the problem, but we're going to give it a shot. Trust me, it's a pain in the butt. The fun part, fishing it through the existing lines. No way. We got it on the first try. But it's a miracle. I actually got it on there with the spacers and the gasket and locked it up. So now we're just going to put the other lines back on. All right, so that's two. So that's the in line from the fuel filter. We've got the return line. Now we're going to hook up the fuel line that runs to the carburetor. This one's a really tight fit because you have to get it under a hose and the hose clamp gets in the way. All right, so we've got those all fuel lines connected. We're drying up any of the excess fuel that we can. You want to make sure all your vacuum lines and fuel lines and everything else is reconnected. You don't want a chance missing any. One of the things too I found is that bolt right there holds a little harness. I actually found that taking that off just allows you to have a little bit more room to get underneath there and get the lines. I doubt this is going to be the fix. We're going to try it. I just don't think it's it. I mean, if the other one was putting out fuel and seems to be going to the carburetor, the only guess I have from there is that the carburetor itself needs to be rebuilt from sitting so long. I don't know, but that's it. So it's done. So let's give this a crank and see if it starts. Here we go. All right, battery sounds a little dead, so we're gonna give it a little kick, get some starter fluid. Like I said, I know it's gonna start with the starter fluid. It just seems to be from there that it doesn't like it. Well, that's a bummer. Does the same thing. So it's got to be the carburetor. That's all I can guess, because once it's getting fuel into it, it's running. We know the fuel pump is good now, but something just ain't working. So on that bummer of an end, we'll just end it at that. Got to figure out something else. But hey, thanks for joining me, and we'll try something else next time.